Hello and welcome back to Open, everyone. Don't forget, I was inviting you to get social with us. That's right. Tweet us at BronxNet TV and tweet me at Rhina Valentin. Girl Vow Inc. is a non-for-profit organization working to empower disadvantaged young women by advocating and mentoring programs. The skills they learn lead to career sustainability, training, or post-secondary education. And here to share more, we welcome the founder of Girl Vow Inc., Dawn Rowe. Hello and welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for you, and thank you for making it your life mission to pay it forward. And if you don't mind, I would like to give our viewers a little insight, a little background on your origins in how this all came into fruition.
So during my teenage years, I was impacted by various forms of trauma, multiple trauma to be exact. And as a result of the trauma that I sustained, I was suicidal. But I had teachers and women that came into my life at the age of 16 that were very instrumental in helping me to support me through those traumas. And so as a result of that, I was able to graduate high school because I also became a high school dropout as a result of the trauma. So I was able to graduate high school, and I always said to myself, I sort of made like a self-promise when I was 16 that when I got the opportunity, I would do the same thing for girls that were just like me. And lo and behold, years later, it really came true, even to my surprise. But you know, it actually came true, and that's really how the true birth of Girl Vow came about.
Yeah, but you didn't continue the story because you're quite the achiever, lady.
Yeah, well,
let's talk about all of those BAs and
that. Okay, so yeah. I wasn't even thinking about that.
No, but it's just it's a wonderful inspirational story that I'd like to share with our viewers to understanding how you made a commitment to paying it forward.
Right. So after being a high school dropout, I wind up going to college. So I completed my bachelor's from John Jay College of Criminal Justice. I completed a master's from Brooklyn College, and I completed another master's from Baruch College. So in between that time, I worked for the district attorney's office under Robert Johnson. So I worked with like victims of crime, and I worked in the field of domestic violence with rape and sexual assault and abuse survivors. And so I think that really kind of like culminated my career, in addition, of course, to having the education that supported my work. I also worked with foster care youth for a long period of time. And of course, doing the work, it also propelled me to see some of the gaps that were happening with girls, particularly within the foster care as well as within the juvenile justice system.
So how is it that Girl Vow services in those gaps?
So one of the things that we do is we provide mentoring services. And mentoring is something that we definitely should not take lightly. I have a mentor and I still have mentors. And as I stated earlier, they were very instrumental in me being who I am today. So we provide mentoring services for a lot of our girls who we work with who, like, for example, don't have parents, and some of our girls are like living on the streets. So we provide mentoring services, we provide advocacy, court advocacy, in addition to making sure that we are a supportive system for girls with whichever way that we can be.
So does it work on a membership level? Like how is it that you recruit or enroll individuals, and how do you seek them out, or how do they seek you out?
So that's kind of interesting that you asked me that. Some of the young women that we work with, they'll bring us their friends and say, she needs help, right? So that's one of the ways. The other ways is we work with Administration for Children's Services, as well as some of the foster care agency that house some of the juvenile delinquents in detention. So we've partnered with other organizations that deal with the population directly, and we provide services through that channel.
What is your take on incarceration at such a young age? Whatever, they want to call them juvenile detention, it's the same thing.
Right.
It's somebody restricting you. What's your take on that?
So I think it's really an unfortunate situation, and I think we're missing the key point. One of the things that I said to you earlier is let's not forget about the fact that we shouldn't be criminalizing our children for youthful behavior. We were all young at one time. And so, like, for example, some of the girls are arrested for very trivial things like running away. So if a young lady is arrested for running away, what is she running from? So we need to really sort of like find out out what exactly is happening with a young person who's really rebellious. What is it that's going on? Has she been raped? Has she been, molested or sexually assaulted? Oftentimes that's what's happened, and no one seems to know or don't really have the true findings about why a child is in the situation that he or she may be in.
So what are some of the workshops you offer to release that or to pull it out? Because, that requires that's a touchy topic that we just tapped into, and that requires feeling safe and comfortable with whom you're sharing it with. And really, it takes something to be true to yourself at that age, to really be honest.
Right, yeah.
And what do you guys do to pull that out?
So through the mentoring workshops, so generally what we like to do is we like to do group workshops. So in group, a lot of times I open up first of all about who I am, because oftentimes I'm also a college professor. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, I teach at John Jay and I also teach at Metropolitan. So I tell young women my story, and that it's not always what you see when you look at someone. You think that they may have it all together, but when you start to dig a little deeper, you notice that there are roots, and sometimes those roots have been tattered and torn or even weathered. So we have conversations about the realities of who we are and why we're there to support them. I think what else is key and is important is that we're not we're a program that's geared for girls. So we're not a program that's necessarily tied to the day-to-day people that they see. So to have someone come from outside of their living quarters where they're in detention and say, hey, I care about you, it means a lot to them. And to do the work outside of into continuity is so very important, because oftentimes a lot of our children they transition throughout different facilities. So to have continuity of care is so very important, because it's like no matter what happens, I'm going to be there and I'm going to follow you through that process. So it's heartfelt. A lot of the young ladies that we work with, they're very focused on one word, and that's loyalty. They're very focused on loyalty because they've been broken in so many ways and they haven't had it. So it means a lot to them, and it means a lot to me because I share the same stories.
It's a big word, and I totally agree with you. And it's a very important characteristic.
Yes, absolutely.
That not too many people honor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes through occupation, whatever, but the truth of the matter is that it's when you find it, you hold on to it.
Yeah, absolutely. It means a lot. It means a lot.
So before we go, just share with everyone your contributions to the LGBTQ community, because I believe that is your primary factor, right?
Right. So we also do address any issues regarding LGBT community, as long as they identify as girl. So we're very open, like I said, to anyone who needs those particular services from us in terms of mentoring. And we're also always looking for mentors from LGBT community, of course, as well as just women who are interested in mentoring and have something that they want to share or give back to the organization or to just girls in general.
So before we go, just share with us what that means to you to assist because your program is really geared towards displacement, and then you're helping them navigate their way through life. What do you get out of it?
It's my purpose work. If I had to really explain it, I would say it's my purpose work. It's something that I look forward to every day. It's not easy. I'm not going to sit here and say that. But I get joy out of seeing a participant or a young girl just find herself and know her worth. Oftentimes our young people, they don't have that. They don't have someone to sort of tap them on the shoulder. One of the things that I always say, it's very important just in general that, when you're going through something good or bad, that you have someone that you can call, and we want to be that. So for me, for instance, I have 5 people I can call. I'm like, hey, this happened, this is great. Hey, this happened, this was bad. And we want to make sure that our participants have that same, relationships.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And once again, if you want to share the information on Girls Vow.
So our organization is Girl Vow. You can find us at girlvow.org, on Facebook as well as Twitter and Instagram.
Awesome.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Once again, you guys, for more information on Girl Vow Inc. and the wonderful work they're doing, as you just heard, for our young girls, please visit girlvow.org. We are taking a break, but don't go anywhere. Bobby C's Weekly Sports Roundup is coming up next.